optimism. So this was normally in, you may remember, either October, November, or December. There was always a dip in people's optimism because their salaries were being affected, social welfare cuts, the children's allowance, all of this was being affected. And then, but fortunately, it did tend to take a swing back up coming around Christmas. But just every time there was an announcement, people just really felt the effects of that emotionally.
So as I said, marches in Dublin, Cork, Galway, Limerick, Waterford, Sligo, Tullamore and Dundalk against these austerity measures. And at this time we saw a rise in 4% of people who thought that the economic situation was getting worse, and a drop in 7% of people who thought that the recession will be over in 12 months. And we also see it impacted emotionally with stress and anxiety of 9%, and worry of 8%, enjoyment down 11% and happiness down 3%. We placed some major protests from the last 8 years onto the ERI graph, and I think this highlights in greater detail that when people appear to be more disillusioned with the economy, they do seem to come out and protest more. So I'm just going to go through and highlight some of them now on here. So the first one there is November 09, thousands marched in 8 cities against government cutbacks. Then in November 10, at the same time when the IMF had come into Ireland, we had 40,000 students march on the dole against cost of education. Then we have in November 11, student marches and marches against austerity, and the same in November 12. Here in April 2013 would be kind of one of the first big water charges marches, where amid the rain, people marched from O'Connell Street to Dublin Castle to register their protest against home and water taxes. This dot here represents the 3-day Dublin bus strike in August 13, and that saw enjoyment and happiness down, and stress and worry up as commuters, tried to get around the strikes. These two here are both water charge protests in August and October and December of 2014. And here I just have the student charge march and the repeal march, just to have them on there. So to look at those in a little bit more detail now, first off I want to look at the November 2009 austerity protest. So as I said, marches in Dublin, Cork, Galway, Limerick, Waterford, Sligo, Tullamore and Dundalk against these austerity measures. And at this time we saw a rise in 4% of people who thought that the economic situation was getting worse, and a drop in 7% of people who thought that the recession will be over in 12 months. And we also see it impacted emotionally with stress and anxiety of 9%, and worry of 8%, enjoyment down 11% and happiness down 3%.
We're now in general election, and we then saw Fine Gael coming into power after years of Fianna Fáil. And this again led to an unstable government, and people then were also now a bit more stressed and less happy, as they were once more unsure as to who was actually leading them in this time. Over the past 4 years, we've been trained to always look for the scoop, something shocking, something out of the ordinary, something different. However, not always at the shock factor. This view has allowed us to see how resentment is built up over time and how we got to the situation we're in. People aren't protesting about the fact that they have to pay for water. They're protesting about the fact that they only have €90 left at the end of the month, and they aren't able to take another tax on their salary.